It was supposed to be just another royal event, until Camilla stepped out wearing what looked like Princess Diana's iconic tiara backwards. Cameras flashed, jaws dropped, and standing just feet away, Prince William couldn't hold back his laughter. In a rare break from royal composure, the future king was caught mid-chuckle as the internet exploded. Was it a simple mistake? Or a message wrapped in pearls? As social media lit up with memes and outrage, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a fashion slip. It was a royal moment no one saw coming. And William's reaction said it all. The moment that went viral. It was supposed to be a standard royal appearance. Glass chandeliers, crisp protocol, polished smiles. Yet when Camilla stepped forward under the glare of cameras, something felt off. A tiara perched atop her head glittered brightly, but it was clearly facing the wrong way. The crowd gasped. Then came the real surprise. Prince William. He was standing nearby, hand to mouth, trying to smother a laugh. This wasn't the reserved, solemn demeanor we're used to from the heir. This was raw, genuine amusement. The image of William's suppressed grin spread like wildfire. A single photo, his eyes crinkled, lips barely hiding a chuckle. Someone captured the moment perfectly, and in minutes it was everywhere. Social media exploded. Memes popped up within hours. One said, "Queen Camilla, meet crown backwards chic." Another joked, "When your stepmom thinks she's Diana but forgets the dress code." It was a mix of fascination, humor, and a dash of royal scandal. But then came the question on everyone's lips. Was that the Cambridge lover's knot, Princess Diana's tiara? Side-by-side comparisons quickly circulated, and the resemblance was uncanny. The Cambridge lover's knot had been Diana's go-to piece for countless royal engagements. It held memories of her charm, grace, and the public's love. Seeing it today, worn by someone else, and backwards at that, felt like a slap in the face to many fans. Royal aides rushed for answers. Was there an official statement? Of course not. Silence from the palace only fueled speculation. Some journalists whispered that the palace was mortified. Others said William's laughter was intentional, a subtle way to diffuse the situation in public. But no matter the angle, the event was undeniable. A backward tiara, a viral laugh, and a moment no royal protocol could erase. The world watched. Some sympathized with a human moment, caught on camera. Others saw a tone-deaf fashion choice. But everyone agreed on one thing. This wasn't just another accessory mishap. It was a modern-day royal moment, unpolished and unforgettable. William's uncontrollable grin gave it life. And Camilla, knowingly or not, thrust herself into the spotlight in a way no one expected. The royal family had a viral moment on its hands, and there was no turning it off. The tiara's backstory. Royal jewels carry stories. They're not just glitter, they're heirlooms steeped in history. The Cambridge lover's knot, in particular, has a story that tugs at the heart. Designed for Queen Mary in 1914, it later found a home on Diana's head. Over the years, it's been part of her most iconic images. The pearls swinging, the diamonds sparkling. Every detail became part of Diana's visual legacy. After her tragic death in 1997, the lover's knot slipped into silence. Some say it was tucked away in the royal vault. Others claim it was passed to William and Harry. But the specifics were never clear. The tiara reappeared years later on Kate Middleton, now Princess of Wales, and everyone took note. It was touching, a symbolic nod from one generation to the next. When Camilla donned a similar tiara, tongues wagged. Was it the real one or a replica? Regardless, it felt significant. For decades, Diana's fans have viewed these jewels as more than ornaments. They're physical extensions of Diana's presence, shining reminders of her spirit. Suddenly, one of those iconic pieces was back under scrutiny. Wearing a tiara backwards might seem like a simple mistake, an oversight, a fashion oops. But given the tiara's history, it became something more. A possible sign of disrespect, or maybe a genuine styling error. But no one could shake the feeling that this was a misstep of emotional consequence. The palace didn't clarify, and that silence was deafening. Royal observers speculated endlessly. But one thing was obvious. This tiara carries phenomenal emotional weight. It's not just a jewel. It's perspective. It's memory. It's family. And when it appeared, backwards, it interrupted every narrative tied to Diana's legacy. Suddenly, it wasn't just about Camilla. It was about Diana. It was about inheritance. And for an instant, people felt history wobble. Why William found it? Funny humor isn't what you expect from a royal ceremony. It's polished, poised, and prepped. So when William laughed, it cut through the formality like a knife. Why did this moment tickle him so much? Because it was human. Royal events leave little room for imperfection. Yet, here it was, a perfectly imperfect moment, with Camilla wearing a tiara the wrong way, and William caught off guard, trying to grin through it. Imagine being in his shoes. You're standing in the glare of media lenses, every move anticipated. Then you spot your stepmother, not in trouble, but making a familiar, everyday mistake. Your instinct? A laugh. Not because you don't care, but because you do. Because you know and love how your mother would have viewed a moment like this. A light-hearted slip, a small rebellion against royal stiffness. And he reacted like anyone would, with amusement. Fans picked apart his body language, eye crinkled, shoulder relaxed, lips wide in a smile he clearly didn't plan. It was a crack in the royal armor, a peek behind the curtain, a reminder that even princes are people, capable of guiltless laughter. Some saw tenderness in it, like an unspoken tribute to Diana. Others saw it as ironic, the heir laughing at a symbol tied to his family's past. William's response was subtle, yet powerful. It reminded everyone that grief and humor can coexist, that wounds heal slowly, and sometimes laughter is part of the journey. It was a moment of honest humanity at a time defined by public performance. That's why, for many, his laugh mattered more than the tiara. The internet responded accordingly, or rather, correctly. William's candid reaction became the moment's heart. Memes weren't just about a backwards tiara. They were about the man behind the crown, the one who carries history, duty, and a mother's memory all at once. It was a moment tailor-made for today's social media era. Raw, unfiltered, unpolished. The kind of moment that doesn't just make headlines, it defines them. Was it an honest mistake or hidden message? When something feels too strange to be a coincidence, rumors start flying. Was Camilla's backward tiara a genuine mistake or a calculated message? Tiaras are delicate, intricate pieces. They're built on frames for a perfect fit. Put one on backwards and it can slip. Hairpins shift. Things get rushed, simple, human, unintentional. On the flip side, look at the optics. Camilla, long tied to Diana's public downfall, chooses Diana's tiara and wears it, not in tribute, but perhaps as an assertion. Fashion critics asked, did she mean to reinterpret Diana's story? Was it a bold statement? I belong here, or a subtle dig? Time moves forward. The palace stayed silent, and that only made it worse. If it was a mistake, why not say so? If it wasn't, why stay quiet? That vacuum of answers allowed conspiracy theories to thrive. Some said it was tone-deaf, others deliberate shade. No matter the truth, the message was sent. Whether accidental or intentional, Camilla touched a nerve. The public felt it. Headlines screamed royal gaffe and symbolic power play. Fans argued nobody stayed neutral, because in the royal world symbols speak louder than words. And this one, it screamed. Royal protocol on jewelry. Everything in royal protocol is deliberate, even the jewelry. Each tiara has rules. It's chosen by status, tradition, and event importance. Wearing the wrong one is rare. Wearing someone else's? Even rarer. Wearing it backwards? Practically unheard of. Traditionally, senior royals don't wear just any jewels. They wear what matches their title, their timeline, their legacy. Queen Elizabeth had her Cartier halo. Diana had the lover's knot. And when Kate Middleton wore it, people saw it as graceful tribute. Quiet. Meaningful. Camilla stepping out in the same piece, especially worn incorrectly, hit different. She's part of the royal system now, yes. But she'll always carry the shadow of scandal. And the tiara? It wasn't just backwards, it was misplaced, symbolically. Palace aides now face a tough question. Will she wear it again? If it was a mistake, expect more careful fittings. If not, maybe the piece gets retired quietly. Because this wasn't just a style problem, it was a perception disaster. At its core, this is about boundaries, memory, position, respect. And Camilla, whether by accident or not, crossed all three. That's why the world noticed, and why it won't forget. Public reaction, laughter or outrage. The moment hit social media like a storm. Camilla wearing a tiara backwards, William laughing nearby, and reactions split fast. Some called it hilarious. Finally, a relatable royal moment, joked one user. But many, especially Diana's loyal supporters, weren't amused. To them, it was disrespectful, even painful. Memes spread. Quickly, one said, even the tiara knows who it belonged to. Another, she took the crown, but she'll never wear the heart. The jokes masked deeper emotions. This wasn't just about jewelry. It was about legacy and loss. Some defended Camilla. It's a tiara, not a treaty, one post argued. Others saw the outrage as nostalgia-fueled. Still, even defenders knew this moment carried emotional weight, and the palace's silence only made it louder. Media outlets ran with it. Some called it a royal mishap. Others saw symbolism, but no one denied its power. A misworn crown, a prince laughing, a queen glowing. It was a scene that stuck. Because Diana still stirs emotion, even in absence. And when something tied to her legacy appears, even accidentally, people feel it. Camilla didn't just wear a crown. She stepped into a space filled with memory, and the world reacted, loudly. Camilla's response, or lack of it. As the internet exploded over the tiara mishap, Camilla stayed silent. No statement, no comment, not even a quiet correction from palace aides. She simply carried on, as if nothing had happened. To some, that looked like poise, but to many, it felt cold. a refusal to acknowledge a moment that hit deep for Diana's fans. Sources claimed Camilla laughed it off in private, calling the fuss silly. But this wasn't just any tiara. It was possibly Diana's, worn backwards by the very woman who once divided the royal family. That made the silence feel heavier. Some saw it as strength, others pure indifference. Camilla has faced criticism before, surviving scandals and shaping a new image. But this moment was different. This wasn't just a fashion slip. It was a crown heavy with legacy and emotion. And ignoring the backlash didn't make it go away. It made it louder. In the end, what hurt most wasn't the mistake. It was the quiet. The lack of recognition for what the tiara truly meant. Camilla may have looked unbothered, but the world was watching, and everyone walked away with their own version of what her silence really said. Charles's quiet discomfort. While William laughed and Camilla smiled, King Charles looked anything but amused. Photos from the event showed him standing stiffly, expression tight, lips pressed into a thin line. No laughter, no casual gestures, just a face that looked like it was counting the seconds until the cameras stopped. A moment where royal control started to fray, if you knew where to look. Palace sources hinted at more. One insider said, His Majesty was not pleased. Another claimed he quietly asked aides, "How did this happen?" For a man who carefully protects the monarchy's image, especially after the Queen's passing, this wasn't just embarrassing. It was frustrating. Charles has spent years trying to shift focus from Diana's memory, not to erase her, but to move forward. With Camilla by his side, he's projected unity and stability. And mostly, it's worked. Until now. This moment didn't just dent Camilla's image, it scraped at Charles's too. Watching her wear what was likely Diana's most symbolic tiara and do it wrong felt like history repeating itself, with diamonds. Charles didn't say a word publicly, but his posture did. He stood rigid, barely glanced at Camilla, reportedly left early. Observers said he kept his interactions short. If William's laugh was a crack in the royal mask, Charles's silence was the cement holding it together. Charles is deeply aware of optics. He knows comparisons between Camilla and Diana haven't gone away. Every event is a test. This wasn't just a tiara mistake. It was a sign of control slipping. And when control slips in the monarchy, people remember. Behind palace walls, the fallout was likely tense. Questions, quiet frustration, maybe even royal tempers. But publicly, all we saw was discomfort. And in today's world, a single photo can say more than any statement. For Charles, this wasn't just a fashion misstep. It was a reminder that no matter how carefully he builds his reign, Diana's shadow still lingers. And sometimes, it leans in just enough to shake the crown. Meghan and Harry. Stay silent, but watchful. As the tiara moment swept across headlines and social feeds, one royal couple stayed completely silent. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. From their home in California, they offered no statements, no interviews, no social posts. But in royal circles, silence can speak louder than words. And this time, it did. The second Camilla appeared with what looked like Diana's tiara. Worn backwards, comparisons started. Royal watchers remembered 2018, right before Meghan's wedding. Rumors flew. Meghan had clashed with palace staff over her tiara, asked for a different one, maybe even offended the Queen. She was branded difficult, all for asking questions. Now Camilla wears Diana's tiara, flips it the wrong way, and nothing happens. No headlines, no outrage, no palace response. For many, the double standard was obvious. Online, one user said it best. Meghan got dragged for asking. Camilla gets silence for messing it up. For Meghan's supporters, it wasn't just unfair. It felt targeted. A pattern. Protect Camilla. Punish Meghan. That's what some saw, even if it was never officially said. And what about Harry? Watching quietly across the ocean. This was his mother's legacy in the spotlight again. Not with respect, but by accident. He's long called himself protective of Diana's memory. Her pain shaped his life. Her absence shaped his choices. Watching Camilla mishandle that legacy, even symbolically, must have stung. But still, he said nothing. And neither did Meghan. Some called it grace. Others said it was strategy. Either way, their silence became a message. Not of indifference, but of distance. A line drawn. Their fans, though, spoke up. Social threads, TikToks, Instagram reels broke it down. Meghan's wedding, Diana's heartbreak, Camilla's rise. All of it poured back into public debate. Because these four, Diana, Camilla, Meghan, Harry, are not just royals. They're emotional territory. And that territory gets triggered again and again. So while Harry and Meghan stayed silent, the public filled in the blanks. With emotion, with questions, with frustration, and with one truth. When a crown carries grief, the world will always pay attention. Royal jewelry drama, not the first time. For anyone thinking this was the first time royal jewelry caused drama, think again. Tiara controversies are practically a tradition in the House of Windsor. Camilla's backward tiara moment might be the most public blunder, but it's far from the only one. Royal jewels carry legacy, power, and emotion. And when worn wrong, or by the wrong person, they set off instant headlines. Remember Meghan's tiara drama before her wedding? The rumors wouldn't stop. Did she ask for a different one? Was she denied? Did she clash with staff? We may never know. But one thing's clear. She was labeled difficult for asking questions. The tiara she wore became as famous for the backstory as for its sparkle. Then there's Kate Middleton, now Princess of Wales. Her first tiara moment came long after her wedding. Some said it was tradition. Others said it was careful strategy, a way to slowly ease her into Diana's shadow. Now, every time Kate wears the lover's knot, it's a statement, a tribute, a quiet connection. But with Camilla, tiaras are different. Her relationship with Diana's legacy is complicated. Every piece she wears feels weighted. That's why this moment, wearing a possible Diana tiara and getting it wrong, wasn't just a misstep. It was read as a scandal. In royal circles, fashion isn't just style. It's messaging, a way to speak without saying a word. And the public catches everything. They remember. They compare. They judge. Every jewel has a history. Every photo gets examined. That's why this isn't just about Camilla. It's about a long legacy of tiara tensions, each one telling its own chapter of royal drama. Even Queen Elizabeth wasn't immune. She was known to wear specific brooches to send subtle political messages. Quiet? Yes, but never accidental. Royals have always known how to use jewelry to speak, especially when they can't speak themselves. Camilla's moment now sits in that same history. Whether a slip-up or a statement, it added another twist to the glittering, emotionally loaded world of royal jewels. A world where nothing is ever just worn, and where the past is always closer than it looks in the mirror. Why this moment resonated deeply. In a world filled with daily headlines and celebrity stumbles, this moment stood out. A tiara worn the wrong way shouldn't have mattered. But it did. Because the second that crown sat the wrong way on Camilla's head, something stirred. Something emotional. Something unresolved. This wasn't about fashion. This was about memory. Diana's memory. The woman who redefined royalty, who wore pain and grace like a second skin. For millions, Diana isn't a chapter closed. She's still the monarchy's heartbeat, still missed. When Camilla wore what looked like Diana's tiara and wore it backwards, it cut deep. And William's laugh? It wasn't just a chuckle, it was a crack in the royal surface, a moment of realness in a family built on restraint. That laugh said more than words. This wasn't just a mistake. It was personal. Online, interpretations exploded. Some saw humor. Others, heartbreak. Some even believed Diana's spirit surfaced, just for a second, to remind us her story isn't over. That's why it hit hard. It blurred the line between past and present. A reminder that royals move forward, but never really. Leave the past behind. This wasn't about Camilla slipping up. It was about what that slip-up symbolized. A misstep on sacred ground. A story flipped. And in that moment, the public didn't just see a queen. They mourned a princess. Time moves fast, but the image stayed. Camilla proud. William laughing. The palace silent. And yet, the world felt it. Because some things don't fade. Some crowns carry more than gold. And when worn wrong, they pull emotions out of the shadows. Will Camilla wear it again? The moment passed, but the echo stayed. Now everyone's asking, will Camilla wear the tiara again? Once locked in royal vaults, once worn by Diana, it's now a storm cloud. A symbol. A spark. And no one knows if it'll return to the spotlight. Behind palace walls, PR teams are surely working overtime. This isn't about jewels anymore. It's about reputation, symbolism, legacy. Another appearance could bring back the fire. Some believe it's done. That the tiara will disappear, quietly retired, no questions answered. It's easier to bury a mistake than risk a second one. And for a palace obsessed with control, the quiet path is likely. But Camilla doesn't always play safe. She's survived scandal. She's become queen. Maybe she sees the tiara not as a mistake, but as a claim. A way to say, I belong. If she wears it again, it'll be bold, maybe reckless, but it would be pure Camilla, defiance in diamonds. And then there's William. His laugh said plenty. But behind the scenes, is he asking that the tiara be put away? For good? Or was that laugh simply a release, a flash of irony he couldn't hold back? The future matters too. Kate, Charlotte. Many hope the tiara returns only through them, women who carry Diana's memory with grace, not controversy. A healing, not a trigger. Right now, the tiara sits under pressure. Next time it's seen, it won't just be fashion. It'll be a message, one that could shape how the public sees Camilla, not as queen, but as part of a story that's still painfully unfinished. Final reflections and what this means. It started with a tiara, a mistake, a laugh. But by the end, it wasn't about any of that. It became a window into a monarchy still wrestling with its ghosts. Camilla's rise has never been smooth. Diana's name is written into every chapter. So when she wore what looked like Diana's tiara and got it wrong, The emotions flooded back. This wasn't just awkward. It was a moment where history twisted, a legacy mishandled, and no one at the palace seemed to see it. William's laugh didn't erase the pain. It marked it, a rare human flicker behind the royal mask. A second of raw honesty. It said what no press release ever could. This isn't the first royal misstep. It won't be the last. But it's one people will remember. Because this time, the public saw the cracks. Not the polished image, but the truth beneath it. The monarchy is still fragile, still emotional, still watched. So what now? Maybe nothing changes. Maybe everything does. But every tiara worn from now on will be judged. Every appearance will trigger a memory. Every smile will be examined for truth. And Diana's name? It will always echo. Because this story wasn't about a laugh or a crown. It was about legacy. About how the past never truly lets go. And how one crown worn the wrong way reminded us all. The monarchy isn't just tradition. It's memory. It's emotion. It's people who refuse to forget. Whether accidental or intentional, Camilla's crown moment shook the monarchy. William's laughter turned a slip into a symbol, and the public into spectators of a royal flashpoint. In the House of Windsor, even a tiara turned backwards can flip the story. And this time, the crown didn't just sparkle, it sparked.